It's a 2. It's a 2. It's handmade.
What are you guys working on?
Tap handles and awards for the comp.
Nice.
Yeah, branding. You in front of a green screen?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so like my wife's a teacher, so I set her up. She's doing a bunch of distant learning stuff, so I set her up a little like recording studio with the green screen and all that stuff, and so yeah. I'm waiting for Rod here, and then we can get started.
I was gonna say, I thought Rod was here.
Give him control of desktop so he presses the button to go.
Yeah, there you go. I gotta get rid of my little sight glass here. What's going on? There we go. Yeah. I have no idea how this is gonna work, but we'll find out.
Dire Straits.
I don't think this is good.
Yeah.
On that. What is phone number?
Good afternoon, Rod.
Is it beer yet? Can we drink it now?
Yeah, it's done.
Sweet. Sorry, I was on the phone with my brother who never calls, and he's brewing.
Oh, cool. No worries. I have no timetables, no anything today. So
He's brewing with the old orange 10-gallon mash tun I had a long time ago that I gave him, and it's finally cracked. I'd gone through like 3 of those things, and Northern Brewer kept giving me new ones. The
Nice.
inside would bulge
oh yeah.
and then eventually crack.
Yeah, that from doing like super high infusions, right? Like high temp infusions, it'll kind of just warp a little bit, right?
I guess. I mean, it was getting so bad I couldn't get the false bottom in it.
Yeah,
That sounds like it's actually cracked though. That's done.
right. Yeah, I don't know if I want that foam in my beer. Or
And I don't know of any material that would be food grade and high enough temperature to seal it back up.
right.
So where are you at in the process?
I haven't done anything yet. I didn't know what you wanted to see or wanted to be part of, so I haven't even started.
Let's start.
All right. So this is my brewing software. It's basically based in Excel. And here's all my stuff for the day. I have different, like brew house. It's kind of loosely built on like Beersmith or whatever. But, here's all my parameters for the day. Batch size and all that stuff. And then so that brings us over to our page where we actually put in our recipe. And so our recipe today is going to be roughly 97% Barca Pilsner and then 3% roughly Weirmann Karamunich 2. And all these details are from the malt analysis sheet. And so I know what my color is going to be. I know what my extract's going to be. And that all comes over into this area right here. And so how I base my recipe and my gravities is based on the extract I'm going to get. So today I'm shooting for about 90.1% conversion. And what that means is with losses and all that other stuff, we're going to hopefully end up post boil 1045 to 1046, hopefully. Our mash today is over here at our temperature graph right here. So we're going to dough in at 135 degrees. We're going to heat immediately to 148. We're going to hold 148 for 35 minutes. Then we're going to ramp to 162, hold that for 30, and then go to a mash out. This will be a 10-gallon sparge batch, so we will be sparging. So here's our sparge details right here. Water profile is right here. Hops are right here. We're going to do 2 hop additions, one at 55 minutes, one at 45 minutes, for a total of about 26 IBUs. We're using 835 WLP 835 at 53 degrees, and we're going to oxygenate to 12 ppm. So now if all my details are correct, I come over to this XML page where this is all broken out, and I click export, and I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna save it as our brew day today, and hopefully by the time we get over to the brewing system, it's all there. So here's all our details. Mineral additions, mash, temperatures, volumes, weights, all that kind of stuff. And now we are basically ready to start brewing. And here's our beer for the day, pills, all our details, hop additions, gravities, etc., etc., etc. And so once that's in there, I am going to Click brew start. And hopefully we should start up here soon.
So all of the inputs are already in there. The grain is milled, and
No, the grain hasn't been milled yet or loaded on the mill into the mill, but it has been put into the system, so it knows what it's looking for. So we haven't got there quite yet.
you're just heating water at this point, basically.
No, not even yet. So
Okay.
one sec here. And it brews. So where are we at? So I'm just looking through my stuff here. All right, here we go. So the system is telling us we're ready to brew. We got to press brew start to begin. So we're going to press brew start. Kicks us over to the recipe page where I have to verify that it's everything I want. Like, so our mash pH is going to be 5.5 roughly. That's what we're going to shoot for today. Knockout boil 5.1. We're going to use what's called YOS. That stands for yeast oxygen scavenging. So we're going to use yeast to actually deoxygenate all our water for today. It works really good. And so I'm just verifying that everything looks good. Once everything looks good, I'm going to click brewing parameters. That's going to load. Now all the system, the setup has been loaded. So now the system knows that we're ready. So am I ready? Yes. So now what we're doing right now is we're purging all the lines. So all the lines today that are going to be used are being purged right now with nitrogen. And so right now we're purging a hot liquor tank line, and that's our underlet line. So you can see all our green dots here are activated, red is not. So there's a purge stone right here, and this is purging the tubing right now that we're going to be using to like underlet the mash with. And so it does a 60-second purge. What you'll notice is you'll see the DO. Can you see my mouse?
Yes, I have to mute again. Yes.
Oh, okay. So good. So you'll see the DO now in the mash tun falling, because what's basically happening is this is being underlet with purge gas up to the bottom of the mash tun. So the mash tun is there's a sensor low in the mash tun for DO, which is what we're seeing right here. And there's a sensor high in the mash tun for headspace. And so you'll start to see these fall as I'm purging. And so
What do you purge with?
nitrogen.
That's what the N2 stands for, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yep, nitrogen tank down here, yep. And so we're purging, and as we're purging, the gas is coming from the bottom and it's coming out a PRV on the top. That's this little blue PRV. And then this purge gas is being recycled to the bottom of the boil kettle. So I'm getting a 2-in-1, and then they both have vacuum pumps going too. So I can pull, as fast as I'm pushing in that gas, I'm pulling it out. So I'm getting a really nice sweep. So you can see that my 20-gallon mash tun is already at 0.48, so 480 ppm of DO.
At the bottom.
At the
top,
bottom.
it's almost 8.
Yep, exactly. So, so right now, up here is our status indicators. So right now we're going to prep for a fill. So you'll see over on the mash tun here, or I'm sorry, the hot liquor tank, it has 2 proportional valves. This one is from the RO, so it's filling RO, and I don't know if you can see it. I can't see it because my thing is docked, but over on the right hand side, it knows how much hot liquor tank water of the RO is needed, because this is going to be a blend of RO and tap water to get a little bit of alkalinity in there. And so it needs about 5.63 gallons of RO, and it's going to use this proportional valve here and this flow meter here to know how much it's got. It has a level sensor right here. And so once this hits that 5.3 or 5.63, then this will shut off, and then the tap water proportional blend valve will turn on and fill the rest, top it up with tap water. This up here is the TDS of this RO water right now. And so it's about 2 to 3 ppm of TDS. And then when this fills after here, I'm sorry, this sensor here is actually in the mash or in the hot liquor tank. So once we start adding tap water, you'll see the residual alkalinity go up. And so I'm just trying to build a little bit of residual alkalinity there to give me a little bit of buffering. So it's filling.
How do you store your RO to be able to fill it that quick?
I have two 40
Oh, we've talked about this.
yeah, two 40-gallon pressure bladder tanks.
That you can't find anymore.
Yeah, that.
Right. I forgot.
It works really good. And so
Yeah, that's once I can work at my brewery again next year, it's high on my list of things to do.
sure. So while this is filling, down here the pump is on, and there's a proportional valve here that's 100%, and it's basically recirculating the mash tun doing a whirlpool, or I'm sorry, the hot liquor tank doing a whirlpool right now, just to make
do
sure,
what?
just circling water, cycling water, and once this gets filled, then for the tap water, it's just cycling water right now, making sure like all the air is out of the lines and that kind of stuff for the hot liquor tank.
And when do you add that yeast?
So that'll come up after we get it filled here.
Okay. And how long does that yeast have to be in there to scavenge
It's
oxygen?
like 20 minutes.
Okay. You have a DO meter on the HLT?
Yep, right here.
Okay.
All right, so it didn't allow me to fill with tap. So let me just, I redid a whole bunch of scripts, so it missed that script. So let me just write down here. Tap, fill, miss. All right, so basically, go ahead.
I'm going to
Rick.
take you into the kitchen, by the way, because I'm in the middle of making sourdough bread with some flour, but I'm listening. Go
Awesome.
ahead.
So while this is filling, it's heating the hot liquor tank to about 95 degrees, and that will help the yeast work faster and do the scavenging. So once it hits 95 degrees, it's gonna cut over to a PID controller, hold that, and just wait until the DO in the hot liquor tank falls to 0. And here's our official timer down here for our brew day. So we've been in it 4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Almost be done.
Should be done.
You said 4 to 5 hours?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So, how long will this ferment go and conditioning and all that?
Ferment will be about probably 5 days into spoon. Spoon will be 2 days, and then a crash cool for about 7 to 10 days. So I don't know, we'll probably be ready in 3 weeks.
Okay.
All right, so now that the hot liquor tank's got 20 gallons, that's what we need for today. We got to go add grain. So I am going to cut over, instead of sharing this screen, I'm going to cut over to the other view here. So give me a second to figure out.
Are you recording this?
I'm not recording it, no.
Good.
All right, so let me start my video. All right, so now if I pin myself, you should see what I see. All right.
This one is for the for the smoked peach sour.
How are you supposed to know what I entered? What?
I know what all of yours are that were entered.
All right, so we're milling. We can kick back over to the milling screen, but basically you'll just see the hopper get less full. Because the hopper itself is on load cells, so just add the grain right to the mill. And so so we're waiting.
How expensive is a load cell?
Super cheap. It's probably like $20 and some Arduino stuff.
So is that probably a better idea than using flow meters for the whole Raspberry Pi?
It could be. The problem with load cells is you got to worry about creep. So that's why I tar my scale every time before I fill it, just in case there was any creep.
How do they get around that? That is something that some people do.
Yeah, I mean you can figure out what your creep is basically, and then account for it in some code. I think I'm almost done milling. I can hear, but then I'll explain what's going on right now. Well, right now on the top right-hand corner, I'm purging the boil kettle lines. So anything that, like our underlet to the boil kettle and all that stuff, all those lines are being purged right now. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go add my grain to the mash tun here, which it's going to kick me an alarm to tell me to do so anyways here soon. I guess we got 10 pounds left to mill. But there's a pressure sensor up here. In every vessel, there's a pressure sensor. And that is the head space pressure, or the pressure on the vessel in PSI. And so there's manual PRV releases if I get higher than like 5 PSI in a vessel. Otherwise, it'll just kind of hang out. Like this one almost has 1 PSI. Right now we're purging the herms, so all the herms tubing and all that stuff's getting purged. And so basically the purge right here is purging the lines coming up through the herms and all the different routing and all that kind of stuff. And then once that gets done purging the herms, then it's going to tell me to add my grain to the mash tun here. And then it's going to start purging cycles to purge the grain in the mash tun while the hot liquor tank is deoxygenating. I'll be right back. All
I
right.
thought you had a way of having the grain loaded into the mash tun.
I do, but I don't have it hooked up right now. I was revising a bunch of stuff on it, so normally it gets, as you mill, it gets vacuumed into the mash tun. You are correct.
Okay.
All right. So right now what it's doing is we're going through a purge. It's purging all the grain in the mash tun basically. And so it's going to run through cycles of purging the grain. Basically it's going to fill up and then purge down. So basically, let's see here. So once this hits full, like 1 psi in the headspace, basically what it's going to do is then it's going to turn on the vacuum and then blow it and suck it down, and then repeat it again and repeat it.
Why not pull a vacuum on the whole thing?
I will. I'm pulling a vacuum right now.
But I mean, like thinking like I know there's limits to the kettle, but
Yeah.
but you know, kind of like a vacuum system, pull the vacuum really low.
Yeah, so I will. So I'll pull it to a negative pressure now, and then I'll fill it back up, and then pull to a negative pressure and fill it back up.
Okay.
I mean, you can only get so good. There's so much air like adsorbed and absorbed to the grain husks and stuff like that, but you can get it pretty decent, fairly decent.
Sorry, for some reason I thought it'd be a good idea to make a bunch of sourdough bread today.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you should get you one of the cinnamon sugar raisin roll ones.
Nice.
They're, I made it a couple weeks ago. All right, so where are you on your volumes?
So I was just walked into the other room to take a look, but so right now we're still pulling that vacuum, and so that's why the mash tun volume is negative. And then we're gonna try and suck all that nitrogen out, and then once we get to where we want to be, then we'll fill it back up. It's basically. So while we're waiting for the hot liquor tank over here to deoxygenate.
Good. Out of curiosity, did my brother or somebody random try to join the Zoom?
Not that I heard.
I sent the link to him, and then he just called, and I said I'm not answering the phone right now. I wasn't sure if that was his question or not.
Oops.
Don't share your porn.
No porn. Let me fix this guy here.
You see? That.
Let's see here.
What are you doing now?
Me? I'm just working with this pressure sensor on the mash tun. It's looking like it's not right. Let's go like this. Also on the left here, this bar going down is the like virtual volume sight glass or whatever. So
What show the cyclist for what?
like if there was like in the hot liquor tank over here, like that shows the liquid level. It shows it
Yeah.
like right here digitally, but it shows it more like analog way, so you can kind of see. It just helps me at a quick glance, you know, take a look and.
I can't quite see the numbers for the HLT. Is it done?
No, we're at like 3.8 ppm of DO still there. It's not quite done.
Yes, for some reason it's really strange. Like the right half of the screen has a lower resolution.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's blurry. I should do a screenshot. But... Well, maybe it's all of it. Yeah, maybe it is all of it. Maybe it's just the size of the font. Like the 69.71 is really clear. I think that's it. I think all the smaller stuff is kind of blurry. Maybe it's because the other videos are running.
Yeah, it's tough. Like with the Zoom, to show all the views and stuff, Zoom isn't fantastic with what I'm trying to do, but. God, something's wonky with this pressure sensor. I don't know what's going on with it. Should match this one. What's going on with this one? 12293. While we're waiting for that, I wonder if I can figure out how to do a higher resolution.